So how much does it really cost to make an app? I think that question has been asked like 5 gazillion times, right? And
Right.
I think anybody who's going to ask me that question again, I'm just going to refer to this video. So in this video, I'm going to break down the exact strategy to calculate the cost of your app and launch it in the most cost-effective way. So stick around till the end of this video. And hey, if you're just meeting, my name is Arsh Singh. I'm a growth strategist for entrepreneurs, and I help you launch and scale your business using mobile apps. If you're watching this on YouTube and not yet subscribed, consider subscribing and hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever a new video comes out. And if you're watching this elsewhere, consider following or liking my page. All right, so let's actually go to a whiteboard and break it down for you so that you get the maximum value out of this video. Okay, so let's dive into this right now. And I get this question all the time, that is, Arsh, how much does it cost to create an app? And I'll tell you right off the bat, there is no magic number. Instead, there are multiple factors at play to determine the cost of an app. Entrepreneurs have spent anywhere from $5,000 to $500,000 in order to build an app that they want. But don't worry, not all apps are created equal. Some are simple, costing less, and others are more complex. So how do companies calculate the cost of an app? Here is the typical way used by app dev companies to calculate how much your app is going to cost. And let's take a look at that right now. So the way they do it is by calculating, and please do not mind it's been a while since I've actually written something. Anyway, so they look at the cost and they look at the hourly effort and multiply that with the hourly cost. So this is the formula that is typically used by most app dev agencies. One is that how many hours are they going to be spending on that specific feature in order to complete it, and then multiply that, what is their hourly cost. Let's take an example to break this down even further. Let's think that you have an app which has 5 core features in it. All right, so let's say feature 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You know, this is what the app dev companies would think of, is that how much time, how many hours would they be spending on each feature. So let's say that it's gonna take 50 hours to do the first feature, and it's gonna take 40 hours for the second one, 70 hours for this, 100 hours to do the fourth feature. Let's consider this is a complex one, and let's say 80 hours to do the 5th feature. So that's roughly around, let's say 340. Yep. Let me write that a little better. So that's roughly, oh, that's not even better. Anyway, so you get an idea, right? So it's 340. Now, if we take 2 different companies and 2 kinds of hourly rates into account, then this is how much your app would cost to make. Let's take a look. So the company 1 is going to be charging, let's say, $50 an hour, and the company 2 is going to be charging $120 an hour. Now, considering that it's going to take 340 hours for your app to be built, let's take a quick look at that. So 340 into 50, it would cost you $17,000 if you go with the company number 1, considering that their hourly rate is 50, but not saying that cheaper is always the best option, but we're just taking that as an example. Let's take a look at the company number 2, $40,800. So that's the company number 1 is going to charge you $17,000 to build your app. The company number 2 is going to charge you $40,800. And the reason for that is because their hourly rate, the hourly cost, is substantially different. They're charging at $50 per hour and they're charging at $120 per hour. This is behind the scenes how they typically calculate the cost of your app. Right, so this is for a simple app which has 5 features. A complex app might take roughly around, let's say, 1,500 hours for the development. And the cost for that would be, let's take a quick look at that as well. So 1,500 with 50, that's 75K. Wow, that's a really bad writing, but anyways, gets the message across, right? So if we look at it for the second company, 1,500 into 120, that's going to be 180K, right? So that's the difference for 2 kinds of apps, 2 kinds of companies. These are the numbers that you come up with. So with a complex app, it's going to cost you 75,000 with company 1. company A, and with company B, it's going to cost you $180,000. But now the question is that how do these companies define their hourly rates, right? So why is company A charging $50 while company B is charging $120? All right, so let's talk about some of the factors that impact the hourly rates. The clearest distinction between the hourly rates difference is going to be based on location. The cost will vary greatly if you go out to a company which is based out of US versus a company which is based out of Ukraine or India. You know, the average cost of a company which is based out of US is roughly around $150. If you go to Europe, that's going to cost roughly around $100. If you go to Australia, another 120 to 150 range. And in India, it is around, starting anywhere from $20 to $80, depending on the quality. So a basic app in India might start at, let's say, $10,000. And a similar app in the US might be roughly at around $50K or $70K. The second factor which will impact the cost of your app is going to be the platforms, the number of platforms that you're considering for your product. If you're going with just Android or just iOS, the cost would be different. But if you're going for both the platforms, the cost will differentiate. It also differentiates from going with a native app versus a hybrid application. The third, the most important factor would be the number of features. Like we took a look at this, the example is that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 features, all of them had a different hourly effort based on which we calculate the total hourly effort, right? So the features that do you want people to sign up using a social platform or just an email or phone number or all of those factors? And then do you want to add any location-based services? Do you want to integrate a payment gateway? Would your app involve streaming, multiple languages, ads, chatting, or offline mode? So all of those factors will play a huge role in defining what's going to be the cost of your app. The number of features, the complexity, the number of integrations, they all play a major role in defining how much effort would be spent in building your app, and then in turn will actually impact the cost of your application. The fourth factor which plays a huge role is the design aspect of your application. Do you want a bare bones design, or do you want amazing, beautiful, modern, premium designs? The user interface and user experience driven apps, they definitely stand out, but they come at a price tag. The visual complexity leads to more effort both from backend and frontend, hence leads to your app being more expensive. The fifth factor is team and experience. The app dev agencies usually have different hourly rates based on different skill sets. Each member, like a developer, a tester, a designer, or a solution architect, will have different hourly rates. In a decent sized company, you'll typically have anywhere around 4, 5, up to 8 people working on a single project. These are the 5 major factors that impact the cost of your app, but you should also consider other factors like maintenance cost, infrastructure cost. It's important to make sure that you have a maintenance contract post-release so that your app is future-proof against any new updates by the operating systems, which might just leave your app useless if not handled properly. In terms of infrastructure, your consideration towards the server selections and database selection or any major integrations with ERP or CRM, all of these will actually add up to the cost of your app. All right, now let's talk about the 2 cost-effective ways to build and launch your app. The number 1 is MVP, minimum viable product. Start with a limited set of features, your core competency. What is that one feature that provides the maximum value to your users? Start with that and then build slowly. Apps like Amazon, Uber, Facebook, Instagram, they all started as an MVP with a limited set of features, and look at those brands today and the number of features that they have. So start with an MVP. The second approach is the SaaS approach. Now, you may not find a SaaS option for all kinds of apps out there, but there are plenty of subscription-based platforms out there today. In a SaaS environment, the service provider will basically host the app for you. They will run it, host it, maintain it, and update it. And all you have to do is pay a small fee to set up your account or a small monthly fee, whatever their monetization strategy is. So explore a few options, see what works best for you based on your research, and then take action. Do not get stuck in the research loop. All right, now, so if you found this video helpful, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you get get notified every time there's a similar video that comes out. And make sure that you drop a comment below and let me know what you think of this video and what is it that you want to watch in the next video. Do not forget to share this video with a friend who might find this information useful. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video.